Welcome back, future CEO. Listen up. What I'm about to say will sting. The global economy is in what I'd call serious trouble. Not the kind of slow burn you can ignore. I'm talking inflation flaring like a wildfire, job markets shaking, markets spinning like they are on ice. Today, I don't just want to analyze the problem. I want to help you OWN the opportunity hiding inside it all right. Let's dive straight into it. The truth is, too many people are asleep at the wheel right now. They're scrolling, they're distracted, they're lulled into this false sense of security that the system will somehow take care of them, but it won't, not this time. The signals are screaming, and if you're not paying attention, you'll be caught in the storm without a lifeboat. This isn't fear-mongering, it's reality. Inflation isn't just a number in the news, it's the shrinking power of every dollar in your pocket. It's the reason groceries cost more today than they did last month. It's the silent thief eating away at your savings, and while people debate whether it's temporary or under control, wealth is quietly transferring. From the unprepared to the prepared, history has shown us this cycle again and again. Every major downturn looks like chaos from the inside, but when you zoom out, you see a pattern. The ones who act boldly in moments of uncertainty are the ones who build empires. The Great Depression, the 2008 crash, the pandemic downturn, every single one of those periods minted new leaders, new companies, new fortunes, and here's the harsh reality. Most people missed those chances because they waited for certainty. They wanted everything to calm down before they made a move. But by the time it calms down, the opportunity is gone, already snatched up by someone else who was awake enough to see it. You have to understand, urgency isn't about panic. Urgency is about clarity. It's the voice in your head saying, the window won't stay open forever. It's that gut feeling that the ground is shifting beneath your feet, and if you don't move now, you'll be buried where you stand. Think about it, the technology shifts happening right now, the rise of AI, automation, and decentralization. It's bigger than anything we've seen in a generation. Pair that with an unstable economy, and you've got the perfect storm. But storms don't just destroy, they also clear the ground. They create openings where before there were walls. So what does that mean for you? It means stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to hand you a roadmap. If you're watching markets tumble, don't just complain. Ask yourself, where's the demand shifting? What problems are exploding right now that I can solve? Because while the masses are glued to headlines, a few sharp minds are quietly building the next giants. And those giants don't wait. They move with urgency, not because it's comfortable, but because they know hesitation is more dangerous than risk. I'll be blunt. Most people are going to get crushed, not because they're not smart, not because they don't care, but because they think they have more time than they really do. They think the system is going to rebound and carry them along. That's not how this works. If you want to survive, more than that, if you want to thrive, you need to treat this moment like it's the most important pivot point of your life, because it is. Think of the alternative. Imagine looking back 5 years from now, when the economy has stabilized, when new markets have exploded, when new players have taken control. Imagine realizing you missed your shot because you didn't move when the warning lights were flashing. That sting of regret is far worse than the discomfort of acting now. The wake-up call is ringing louder than ever. Prices are rising, debts are ballooning, uncertainty is thick in the air. But here's the paradox. Uncertainty for the masses is clarity for the few who know how to read it. If you can see the writing on the wall, you don't freeze. You act, you pivot, you create, you grab attention while it's cheap. You build when competition is asleep. Because when the dust settles, people will look around and wonder, how did they rise so fast? The answer is simple. They woke up when everyone else was still dreaming. So here's the challenge. Stop thinking you've got time. You don't. Every day you wait is another day someone else is moving faster, building stronger, positioning themselves for the rebound that will come. Urgency isn't an option anymore, it's survival, and those who treat this moment with the seriousness it deserves will be the ones we'll all be reading about tomorrow. This is the wake-up call, not a whisper. Not a suggestion, a blaring siren telling you it's now or never. Don't hit snooze, let's get real for a second. It's easy to talk about the economy like it's just some abstract concept floating in the news, but that's not what's happening here. This isn't just about charts, government reports, or what some analyst on TV says. This is about your life. It's about your wallet, your business, your family, your future. When the economy shakes, it doesn't just rattle Wall Street. It rattles the kitchen table. It shows up in the rent check that suddenly feels heavier, the grocery bill that somehow doubled, the loan you can't get approved for, the client who suddenly cancels because they're cutting costs. That's not theory. That's your reality. You can already feel it. Gas prices creeping higher, interest rates climbing like a mountain, credit card balances getting harder to pay down. These aren't distant signals. They're daily pain points. And here's the kicker. The gap between those who adapt and those who don't is widening faster than ever. The system is designed to protect itself, not you. So while central banks juggle policies and governments throw around stimulus plans, the everyday entrepreneur, the everyday dreamer, is the one who gets squeezed the hardest. Now here's where the shift happens. You can either get crushed by that squeeze, or you can use it as fuel. Real world relevance means you don't ignore the storm. You learn how to sail in it. When consumer spending habits change, that's not just a problem, it's a signal. People are cutting back on luxuries. Maybe that's your chance to create value in essentials. People are worried about security. That's your cue to innovate products and services that give peace of mind. Every struggle people feel is an opening for someone bold enough to step in with a solution. Look at the businesses that exploded during the pandemic downturn. Delivery apps, remote work tools, health solutions, content creators. They weren't born in calm waters. They thrived because they responded to pain points in real time. The economy shifted, and instead of fighting the wave, they rode it. And that's exactly what you have to do now. You can't sit there wishing things would go back to normal. There is no normal coming back. There's only the new economy that's being built right now. And if you're not part of that building process, you'll just end up paying the price for it later. Think about your own circle. How many people do you know who are already struggling with debt? How many are worried about their job security? How many have put off starting a business because they're waiting for the right time? That's real world relevance. That's the reality that's hitting millions of people right now. And the mistake is thinking you're somehow insulated. You're not. Nobody is. But that's not a reason to panic. That's a reason to prepare, to pivot, to position yourself while others are still clinging to the hope that everything magically fixes itself. The truth is, this is where resilience and creativity separate leaders from the rest. While others drown in rising costs, you can learn to cut fat, run lean, and invest in growth areas that others are too blind to see. While others let fear lock them down, you can double down on building skills that will always be in demand. Sales, marketing, communication, digital creation, leadership. These are the currencies that don't inflate, the assets nobody can take from you. And the more you sharpen them now, the more bulletproof you become against whatever the economy throws next. You see, the relevance isn't just about money, it's about mindset. When the world tilts, most people fall because they don't know how to balance. But the few who learn to stay steady are the ones who rise above. Every headline you read, every statistic that looks terrifying, should be filtered through one question. What does this mean for me, right here, right now, and how do I turn it into an edge? That's how you stay relevant in a world that feels like it's crumbling. So, let's stop pretending this is just out there. It's here. It's in your spending habits, your business strategy, your daily choices. That's what makes this so urgent, because when you really grasp how deeply connected you are to this moment, you stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You realize it's on you to adapt, to pivot, to take control. That's the mindset shift that creates not just survivors, but leaders. This is your wake-up to reality. The economy's trouble isn't a headline, it's the stage you're standing on. You can either freeze under the spotlight, or you can step up and own it. The choice is yours, but make no mistake. This moment touches you whether you like it or not, and the faster you move from denial to action, the faster you turn relevance into opportunity. Chaos feels overwhelming when you're in the middle of it. The headlines scream collapse, markets swing like a roller coaster, and everywhere you look people are nervous, confused, frozen. It's loud, it's messy, and it makes you believe there's no way forward. But here's the truth that most people miss. Inside that chaos is clarity, if you're willing to look differently than everyone else. Because the same storm that blinds the crowd can light up the path for the few who keep their eyes open. When everything looks uncertain, people default to fear. They hoard cash, they cut opportunities, they shut down their imagination. Fear narrows their vision until they can't see beyond survival. But clarity doesn't come from hiding. It comes from leaning in and asking, what is this chaos really telling me? Every signal, every fluctuation, every shift in the economy is data. It's feedback. It's the market screaming where the problems are and where the opportunities are hiding. Think back to every major crisis, the internet bubble bursting, the housing collapse, the pandemic. In the middle of each one, it looked like the end of the world. But when the dust cleared, what stood tall? New industries, new leaders, new companies that understood something everyone else missed. They saw through the noise. They found clarity in the confusion. While the majority panicked, they built. That's not luck, that's mindset. So how do you find clarity when everyone else sees chaos? You start by zooming out. People obsess over the day-to-day fluctuations, the latest doom headline, the little dips and spikes. But step back. Look at the long-term direction. Yes, markets dip, currencies fluctuate, policies change, but human needs remain constant. People will always look for ways to save time, save money, improve their health, protect their families, and feel secure. The chaos of today doesn't erase those needs. It magnifies them. That's your roadmap. Clarity also comes from understanding cycles. Economies move in patterns: growth, peak, decline, recovery. We're not stuck in freefall forever. The downturn is part of the rhythm, and if you know the rhythm, you stop fearing it, you start preparing for it, you position yourself not just to survive the down cycle, but to be ready for the inevitable up cycle. When others finally see the recovery, you're already 5 steps ahead because you acted when they froze. In chaos, another form of clarity is attention. Where are people spending their energy? What are they worried about? What are they searching for? That's a goldmine of insight. If everyone is suddenly talking about debt, inflation, or cutting costs, that means they need solutions in those areas. If everyone is focused on safety, that means products and services tied to security and trust will explode. You don't fight the current, you surf it. That's clarity, but let's not sugarcoat it. Chaos hurts, it tests you, it forces you to strip away what doesn't matter and double down on what does. It exposes weak business models, poor leadership, and shaky foundations. And while that feels brutal in the moment, it's actually the gift, because clarity isn't about comfort, it's about truth. Chaos reveals the truth of who's prepared, who's resourceful, who's adaptable. And if you're willing to face that truth instead of denying it, you come out sharper, stronger, and far more focused than before. So ask yourself, are you lost in the noise, or are you using it as a compass? Are you paralyzed by uncertainty, or are you using it to sharpen your decision making? Most people want calm seas, but calm seas don't make strong captains. Clarity doesn't come when things are easy. It comes when everything is shaking, and you choose to see the signal instead of the static. The opportunity right now is hidden in plain sight. While chaos convinces most to retreat, clarity shows the few where to advance. While chaos makes others panic about what they can't control, clarity shows you exactly what you can. And that's where power comes from. You stop reacting, you start directing, you stop being tossed around by the storm, and you start steering your own course through it. Remember this, chaos isn't permanent. It's a season, but the clarity you find inside it can last a lifetime. Those who learn how to see through the mess don't just survive downturns. They thrive in them, and they carry that vision into every future challenge. That's why this moment matters, because if you can train yourself to find clarity in chaos now, there is nothing that can shake you later. This is your chance to see what others don't, to take the noise, the panic, the uncertainty, and use it as a lens instead of a blindfold. The world may look unstable, but if you choose to see clearly, you'll realize this isn't the end. It's the map to the beginning of something new. And that's where real leaders are made. Here's where most people get stuck. They hear about chaos, they hear about urgency, they even nod along when someone says opportunity is hidden inside the storm. But when it comes to action, they freeze. They tell themselves they'll wait and see, or they'll act when things calm down. That mindset is the kiss of death, because waiting for clarity in a storm means you'll miss the very moment that creates wealth, growth, and transformation. You don't need to wait for calm seas. You need a blueprint to move right now. Step 1 is survival. Before you can dream of building empires, you've got to make sure your foundation is solid. Cut unnecessary expenses. Audit every dollar leaving your account and ask, does this fuel my growth or is it dead weight? In turbulent times, cash flow is oxygen. Protect it, stretch it, build reserves so you can breathe when others are suffocating. Don't mistake this for fear. It's discipline. It's making sure you're alive and standing when the rebound comes, because trust me, it always comes. Step 2 is adaptability. The entrepreneurs, leaders, and builders who win in uncertain times are not the ones with the fanciest plans. They are the ones who can pivot the fastest. That product you thought was the future, the market may have shifted. That audience you thought would never change, they already have. Your job isn't to cling to old models. It's to move with speed and precision. Watch the market like a hawk, test quickly, and never marry a failing idea. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's survival strength. Step 3 is skill building. In chaos, the assets that matter most aren't sitting in a bank account. They're inside you. Skills are the tools that will print money long after currencies fluctuate and markets collapse. Sales, persuasion, leadership, digital creation, communication. These are recession-proof currencies. If you're sharpening them daily, you'll never truly be broke because you'll always have the ability to create value out of thin air. Invest in yourself first, because nobody can tax or inflate away your abilities. Step 4 is visibility. In a downturn, attention gets cheaper. When brands pull back, when businesses slash marketing budgets, when noise quiets down, you step in. Create content, build community, provide value, grab attention while everyone else is hiding. Because when people are scared, they're looking for voices of clarity and leadership. If you're the one speaking, guiding, teaching, or building solutions, you're not just surviving. You're becoming a magnet for opportunity. Step 5 is long-term positioning. Don't just think about getting through the storm. Think about where you want to stand when the sun comes back out. Downturns reset the playing field. Businesses collapse, competitors vanish, industries reshape. That's when you plant seeds, acquire undervalued assets, build relationships, strengthen systems, and expand where others are retreating. It's like playing chess. While everyone else is panicking about the next move, you're thinking 5 moves ahead. That's how you walk out of this cycle, not just intact, but miles ahead. Now, let's be real. None of this is easy. It takes discipline to cut costs. It takes courage to pivot. It takes humility to learn new skills. It takes energy to build visibility when you feel like pulling back. But this is exactly why the few rise while the many fall. Most people won't do it. They'll cling to comfort, even when it's crumbling beneath them. But if you follow this blueprint, if you execute while others hesitate, you position yourself to not only weather the downturn, but to own the rebound. Think of it like building muscle. Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens under stress, under pressure, under weight. The economy is putting weight on your shoulders right now. You can either collapse under it or use it to grow stronger. Survival, adaptability, skills, visibility, long-term positioning, that's your workout plan. Stick to it, and while everyone else is complaining about how heavy things feel, you'll be getting stronger, sharper, and more unshakable every day. And here's the kicker, this blueprint doesn't just apply to one downturn, it's timeless. The next storm will come, the next crisis will hit, the next wave of uncertainty will arrive. But once you've trained yourself to move with this kind of discipline and clarity, no cycle can break you. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop playing defense and start playing offense. That's how leaders are built, so don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a 100-step plan. You need a simple, focused blueprint executed with relentless consistency. Protect your foundation, pivot fast, sharpen your skills, grab attention, and think long term. That's it. Do that, and the chaos that destroys others becomes the exact fuel that propels you forward. Because the truth is, opportunity doesn't disappear in downturns, it just changes shape. And this blueprint is how you catch it, while everyone else is too distracted, too fearful, or too slow. Act on it now, and when the world looks back at this storm, they'll see it as a tragedy. But you'll remember it as the moment everything turned in your favor. Leadership isn't proven when times are good. Anybody can look like a genius when money is cheap, when credit flows freely, when markets are climbing and everybody feels rich. Real leadership shows up when the lights go out, when the ground shakes, when fear runs wild and no one knows where to turn. That's when true leaders step forward, not because they have all the answers, but because they have the courage to face uncertainty with vision. They see a future that others can't, and they pull people toward it. That's the difference between being dragged by the storm and becoming the one who charts a new course. Right now, people are desperate for that kind of leadership. Look around, most are paralyzed. Families are worried, entrepreneurs are second guessing, investors are holding their breath. Everyone wants someone to tell them it's going to be okay. But here's the truth. It's not going to be okay by accident. It will only be okay because some individuals choose to make it so. That's what leadership really is. The decision to carry hope when others are carrying fear, and the willingness to act on that hope until it becomes reality. Visionary leadership starts with perspective. While the crowd sees only what's breaking, a leader sees what's building. While others complain about inflation, debt, or uncertainty, a leader asks, where's the opening? What new systems will rise? What innovations are waiting to be born out of necessity? Every major leap forward in history came out of struggle. The most valuable companies in the world today, many of them were born in recessions, built in downturns, or scaled in crises. That's not coincidence. It's proof that when the world tightens, visionaries thrive. But vision alone isn't enough. Hope without action is just a daydream. What separates a visionary leader from a hopeful spectator is execution. You have to be willing to build when no one else believes, to keep showing up when others walk away, to take risks when the outcome is anything but guaranteed. Hope becomes powerful when it's paired with relentless effort. That combination inspires people. It makes them believe again. It reminds them that even in darkness, someone is willing to light a fire and keep it burning. Hope is contagious. When you choose to see opportunity, when you speak with conviction, when you act boldly despite uncertainty, you give others permission to do the same. That's why leadership matters so much in moments like this. Because the majority are looking for someone to follow, whether they admit it or not. And if you don't step up, they'll follow the loudest voice in the room, whether that voice leads them forward or leads them off a cliff. The world doesn't need more fear. It needs more builders, more doers, more people willing to stand tall and declare, this is not the end. This is the beginning. Here's the thing about hope. It isn't naive. It doesn't ignore the chaos. It acknowledges the struggle but refuses to be defined by it. Hope says, yes, the economy is shaking. Yes, the headlines look grim. Yes, people are scared, but I will not shrink. I will not fold. I will rise. That's the essence of visionary leadership. the ability to stare reality in the face and still see a greater possibility. And make no mistake, this isn't just about you, it's about the people watching you. Your family, your friends, your team, your community. They draw strength from how you show up. If you panic, they'll panic. If you crumble, they'll crumble. But if you lead with vision, if you speak hope into existence, if you model resilience, they'll find the courage to keep moving too. That ripple effect is how entire generations are changed. One person chooses to stand up, and suddenly dozens, hundreds, thousands follow. So here's the challenge: be that person. Be the one who doesn't just talk about the future, but builds it. Be the one who refuses to let fear have the final word. Be the one who shows others that it's possible to not only endure tough times, but to use them as a launchpad. Because when the storm passes, and it always does, the people who carried hope will be the ones shaping what comes next. The future is wide open. The systems we knew are being rewritten. Industries are being reshaped. Leaders are being made right now. The only question is whether you'll choose to be one of them. Will you cling to fear and wait for someone else to fix things? Or will you step forward, own your vision, and lead with hope? Because at the end of the day, history doesn't remember those who hid in the shadows. It remembers the visionaries, the builders, the leaders who turned chaos into clarity, crisis into opportunity, fear into hope. And that opportunity is staring you in the face right now. This is your time to rise, so yes, the economy is in trouble, but guess what? That's your ground zero. That's where legacies are born, from zero. To CEO, if you're willing to move while others freeze, if you can see value where others see fear, if you refuse to be defined by headlines and instead define your own destiny, then this isn't the end. It's your beginning. Get up, get bold, and let's build the future, starting right now.